You believe that vetting people at the border is racist, do you not?
No, I've never said that.
You would allow someone in our country, illegally, convicted of manslaughter, convicted of domestic violence, in your jail. ICE says, please hold him when his time is up. We want to get this criminal out of our country. And you said no. Sheriff, I don't mean any disrespect, but you ought to be ashamed of that. How can you possibly be for public safety if you hate our immigration laws so much that you would let a convicted murderer back on the street? Do you really hate immigration laws that much?
Welcome back, Patriots. If you want to see what real, unapologetic America First leadership looks like, you need to watch what Senator John Kennedy just did in the Judiciary Committee. He just took Durham County Sheriff Clarence Burkhead to the woodshed. We're sick and tired of these woke, radical, left-wing local officials putting illegal alien criminals ahead of the safety of American citizens. And Senator Kennedy? He wasn't having a single second of the lies. This wasn't just a hearing. This was a total, fiery takedown of the entire dangerous sanctuary city agenda. Let's get right into the truth the mainstream media won't show you.
You're sheriff of Durham County.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful parish. Or we call our counties parishes, beautiful county. Is it at least part of your job to protect the public?
Yes, it is.
Okay. You believe that vetting people at the border is racist, do you not?
I'm sorry?
You believe that vetting people at the border is racist, do you not?
No, I've never said that. I believe that having secure borders is important, and we have processes that allow individuals to come into the country the right way, absolutely.
You believe that people should be able to violate federal immigration laws without consequences, don't you?
No, sir, I do not. I believe that anyone who violates federal or state law needs to be held accountable, and there need to be consequences.
You don't believe in cooperating with ICE, do you?
I believe in cooperating with federal authorities, as I do. A number of federal agencies I cooperate with, and I certainly would cooperate with ICE if they would cooperate with me.
Okay. You were elected in 2018, Sheriff, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. On April 18th, 2018, you gave an interview with a media organization called Indie Week. Do you remember that?
I'm familiar with the paper, yes.
Okay. Here's what you said. I'm quoting you, your words, not mine. I disagree with the incumbent sheriffs, that's the guy you beat, with the incumbent sheriff's cooperation with ICE. I will make a clear and uncompromising commitment to not cooperate with ICE. As sheriff, I will not honor ICE detainers, and we will not participate in ICE roundups, end quote. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In April of last year, you spoke to a group of ICE employees. Do you remember that?
Not particularly, no.
Okay, well, there was an article in a media organization, a media entity called the Assembly. Are you familiar with them? Do you remember?
I've heard of the Assembly, yes.
Yeah, do you remember giving them an interview?
I give several interviews.
Sure. Yeah.
I actually don't remember that particular one, but I'm...
Okay. Well, here's what you said in the interview, apparently on the record. These ICE employees that you spoke to, you were referencing them, and you said, quote, they, these ICE officials, asked me, so Sheriff, if someone is about to be released from your jail and the detainer is about to expire, you will call us and let us know? What was my answer, you said? No, because that's not what the law says. No, I will not call ICE. End quote. Did I read that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
And, sir, Senator, that was before the new law, which is now House Bill 318, which requires me to make that second phone call.
Right. Yeah.
Prior to that, it was not state law, which I follow and all my deputies follow.
Sure.
And so now we do make that second phone call. But ICE agents are notified whenever someone is entered processed into my jail.
Do you need some water? Because I think your pants are on fire.
Okay.
Do you remember a gentleman by the name of Carlos Heriberto Mendoza Martinez?
Not right off, sir, no.
Okay. Sheriff, you should. He was in our country illegally from Mexico. He was in a street gang. Back in Mexico, he was convicted of manslaughter. And he was in your jail. And because in 2021 and 2024, Mr. Martinez was arrested for assaulting a woman and domestic violence. And ICE placed a detainer on this guy because he was in our country illegally. And he was a criminal. And he was in your jail. And you wouldn't honor that detainer, would you?
I can't say that I did not honor the detainer.
I can.
I can say what I did honor was the conditions of the release that were issued by a judge. And so therefore, and once again, ICE was notified that they could come pick up this individual.
Do you really believe in public safety?
Yes, sir, I do.
You would allow someone in our country, illegally, convicted of manslaughter, convicted of domestic violence, in your jail. ICE says, please hold him when his time is up. We want to get this criminal out of our country. And you said no?
ICE was notified that they could come pick up the individual, and for some reason they did not. And the judge issued the conditions of release. I am a custodian. I do not determine who is released or held. I follow the court's order.
Sheriff, I don't mean any disrespect, but you ought to be ashamed of that. How can you possibly be for public safety if you hate our immigration laws so much that you would let a convicted murderer back on the street? Do you really hate immigration laws that much?
Senator, it's not a matter of that I hate immigration law.
You could have fooled me, Sheriff.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your service. You're now in charge.
Kennedy came right out of the gate and asked this sheriff a simple question. Do you believe vetting people at the border is racist? Of course, the sheriff tries to play the moderate for the cameras, saying, "Oh no, I believe in secure borders. I'd cooperate with ICE." Give me a break. These guys always put on a mask when Congress is watching. But Kennedy came armed with the receipts. He pulled up an interview from 2018 where this exact same sheriff literally bragged to a left-wing paper, that he would make an uncompromising commitment to never cooperate with ICE and never honor federal detainers. He ran his entire campaign on a platform of protecting lawbreakers over law-abiding American citizens. Folks, if you're as fed up with these lying open-border politicians as I am, smash that subscribe button right now because we are exposing the swamp every single day. So the sheriff sits there and tries to squirm, blaming some new state law for why he suddenly has to pretend to care. But Kennedy looked him dead in the eye and delivered the line of the year. "Do you need some water? Because I think your pants are on fire." Boom. Then Kennedy brought up the tragic, infuriating reality of these liberal policies. He mentioned an illegal alien street gang member who was previously convicted of manslaughter. This guy gets arrested again for beating a woman. ICE begs the sheriff to hold him so they can deport him. And what does this woke sheriff do? He ignores ICE and lets a violent criminal walk right back out onto our streets. This is exactly what the MAGA movement is fighting against. The radical left is deliberately turning our towns into war zones just to score cheap political points with their extremist base. Kennedy asked him how he could possibly claim to care about public safety while putting a convicted killer back into the community. Kennedy took this guy to school, reminding him that local officials don't get to just veto federal immigration law because they hate America's borders. When an innocent American citizen gets hurt because a sheriff refused to do his constitutional duty and hand a criminal over to ICE, that blood is on their hands. Senator Kennedy proved exactly why we need strong Republicans holding the line. We need leaders who actually put America first, prioritize law and order, and refuse to bow to this woke sanctuary madness. This sheriff was left stammering and completely humiliated on national television. It is time to secure our border, deport these violent criminals, and hold these radical local officials accountable. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Kennedy's epic takedown. Smash that like button, share this video to expose the radical left, and I'll see you next time. MAGA.